This is my review, my commentary, my breakdown of Tyler Perry's The Oval, Season 4, Episode number 14, titled Know Your Place. I'm going to tell you everything that happened in this episode. I'll tell you what I liked, what I didn't like, and how this episode is moving the plot right along. This episode opened up with Officer Heller questioning Lily, just grilling her about what actually happened to her shoulder. And of course, we all know that she got shot, and at this point, they know that she got shot too. They know that this is a clear-cut case of domestic violence, and they say that they want to protect her, keep her from harm. But Lily's ready to go home. She knows that she's not going to be able to get away with this at all once Donald finds out. So Officer Heller didn't have any success in getting her to admit what was actually going on. So he told her, look, I'm going to have to detain you. But Lily wasn't really having that. So she resisted, right? And in her resistance, I had to throw her on the bed and sedate her. Lights out, Lily. Well, only for just a moment. Then we move to the pharmacy with Dale and Sharon. And Sharon is on the internet looking up Tyrone Luckett. I guess she just got curious because Manny came in there dressed in army fatigue and picking up medication. So she just got curious. And leave it to good old Dale. He knows all about the Rackadoochies, the compound, the highest, everybody. He even took her and Mr. Richard right up to the gate. But nobody still went to go and rescue little Callie. Poor thing. So now it's time for them to get off work. And Dale said that he thinks he's just going to stay in his truck for the night because he felt like a stray cat. He said he felt like a stray cat. And of course, Mama Sharon said that she didn't want him, to be all out in the streets, and that she wants him to come over to Miss Nancy's to stay with her there, like, she always does. She's always homeless, and she's always inviting Dale to be homeless with her. I just can't with Sharon this week. And she suddenly got this call from Barry's phone, right? And he didn't say anything, of course. Glad he didn't say anything. Otherwise, this would be a whole different show. So she called his phone back, but there was no answer. So she decided to call Richard and let him know. And he said, well, don't worry about it. I'll call him back this time. So then we move back to the hospital where Lily is begging the officer to let her leave and go home. And she's asking the officer, she's like, are you married? Do you have a daughter? Do you have people that you love? Because if you don't let me get out of here and go home, you're ruining your life. That's exactly what you're doing right now, because my husband makes the laws. And the only way that you can help me is to help me get out of here. And the only concern that Officer Heller has is, he just wants to know if she's safe and is her husband abusing her. But, she can't admit to any of that. So I guess he's going to play along to get along. Do y'all think he's going to help her out? I don't know. I think she may be wearing on him just a bit. Then we move on to BFFs, Jason and Alan. They're having this great bromance moment right there in Alan's living room. And Alan is just really chatty with Jason, right? I think he's just basically trying to keep that gun from pointing at his head, right? So he'll say anything at this point. Then Jason went on to tell him about how he's daydreaming about his dead girlfriend, Ellie. How pleasant, right? Then he asked Alan what Ellie felt like inside. Then Alan was like, hey bro, look, are you a virgin or something? Like, why are you even asking me something like that? Then he told him that he wanted to feel what it was like to be inside, like right now. And Alan was like, what do you mean? He told Alan that he wanted him to get him a woman, and to get him a woman right now. Then Alan had the best answer. He had to think quickly on his feet. He said, look, man, you're supposed to be dead, right? So if I bring somebody up here, she may just freak out. Then there was a knock at the door. It's Alonzo, of all people. And he couldn't have come at a better time. And he told Alonzo to kick rocks because he's in there with Maria. And I'm sure this was some kind of code. And you'll see why at the end. All right, next up, we've got Oscar De La Hoya and Manny Pacquiao. Oh, that's not Manny, sorry. It's Kyle, and he's waiting for Max to come show up in the ring to fight him. But in the meantime, Agent Kane gave him a call, and he had to, snitch on Sam a little bit to let Kyle know that Sam had been on the monitors looking at cars and doorbell cameras and the whole nine. Then, of course, Kyle had to call Donald with this information. And then he told him, look, I think that Sam is the one who actually moved Jason. And Donald wanted to know who was helping him because he's got to have some help, right? But they ruled out the vice president because he was too instrumental in helping to get all of this craziness to go away. Then Donald told him to get some more information and to call him back by the end of the day. Then Max finally made it to the ring with Bobby. You know, Bobby's got to be there to help him put his gloves on and stuff. And Kyle wants to set some ground rules. He wants to talk. And Max is like, nah, ain't no talking. We ain't here to talk. Boom, down he went. One punch knocked him clean to the floor. Kyle thinks he's playing. Then Kyle was like, you know I would never hurt your kid. You know it's a part of the job. Boom, he down again. Max is giving him them hands, and then he started choking him out. Bobby had to come in to save him, y'all. He had to come in to save Kyle's life. I think he stopped breathing for a minute. So then old horny Hunter came home, you know, after being doped up all night. And Victoria just started questioning him. She wanted to know where he's getting his drugs from and how he hasn't changed. But Hunter is totally in denial. And he's like, you know, I don't know why I married you. He's just straight giving her the business. He doesn't want to be married to her. He cannot stand Victoria. But on the other hand, she's telling him how much she cares about him and how much she loves him. She told him that he smelled bad and to go in and take a shower so that they could both get some sleep. But this is, of course, her way to get rid of him so that she could call Eli. And when she was talking to Eli, she told him that Hunter mentioned his name. So she thinks that Hunter has a clue that they're sleeping together. And of course, she had to call him right in the middle of him being in bed with his wife. Like, come on. And my whole thing is, okay, it's okay that you call him, but you don't get up from your wife and go and answer the phone, especially when you think it's Hunter on the other end, because he didn't know that it was Victoria until he actually picked up the phone. I mean, I guess, I don't know, because he ran right to the bathroom. Who knows with Eli? But that was basically what the phone call was about. She just questioned him to make sure that nobody knew about their affair. And he's like, well, no one's supposed to know. Why are you calling me so late? You know, she's right in the other room. And all this time, Simone is standing right there by the door. And we really couldn't gauge as to how much she heard or what she actually heard, because her reaction when he came out was kind of vague. It was like, look, I would have been going off. Okay, right then and there. Who were you talking to? What's going on? Da 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 da. You know, running my mouth. And to be quite honest, you guys, I was kind of doing something else during these two scenes, so I may have to double back and look at it again and then give another commentary video on just these two scenes. But anyway, we'll see. But I did catch the ending where he told her that the president wants to meet with him tomorrow because, you know, Hunter doesn't do any work and he has to actually go to all the meetings and do all the work. And then he tried to get back in the bed and Simone was like, nope, the moment's lost. Good night. Then we had a brief scene with Donald and the new security guy that Sam hired, by the way. And then he asked him, where's my wife? And then when he found out that Lily was in the hospital, he went off. He was like, you know, call your replacement. You're going to go to Siberia. Gonna get rid of you real quick. Who put you on this detail? Of course, this is all Sam's doing. Then we move on to our new favorite couple, Priscilla and Bobby, at their dinner date. And he told her, you know, I thought you changed your mind. And she was like, I ain't changing my mind. No. Then she ordered some shots. She went on to explain to him how she had been faithful in her marriage, like since before they were even married. But she did let him know that, you know, she's on the rebound from her husband's affair. And he's just a pawn in it. And Bobby's okay with that. Bobby's like, it's cool. Whatever's clever. And she was like, don't you want to have sex with me? And he said, well, yeah, of course. Then she told him, we don't have to order any food because after these shots, we're going to go straight to my place. Guess who crept up from behind the table? Sam. Sam thought he was there to put a stop to all that. He told Bobby that he needed to get up and leave. And Bobby was like, he ain't going nowhere, right? And Sam was like, Priscilla, if you do this, you're going to regret it. Then he called Bobby stupid. Like, really? Then Priscilla was like, you know what? We can leave right now. Like, forget all this. Let's just go. Then we'll move back to Jason and Alan. And Alan said that he was tired and he wanted to go and take a shower and go to bed. And Jason followed him into the shower. Well, he tried to follow him into the shower and said, how am I going to keep an eye on you if I don't follow you into the shower? Well, Alan's trying to shower and Jason wants to talk. Shortly after this, we see Alonzo coming up behind Jason with a gun. And this is why I say that the Maria thing was a code. And that was to alert Alonzo that he was in trouble. Because, you know, he's gone through that thing with Grip and Priscilla and, you know, them him, his life being threatened. So moving forward, he's probably got this code going on with Alonzo now so that Alonzo could come in to protect him. And this is exactly what's happening here. So he pulled the gun and put it to Jason's head as Jason was putting his gun on the table. So now they got him, thank goodness. And then in our final scene, we see Richard coming home from a long day's work. You know, he's been looking for Barry all day and all night, to come in and see his wife sitting there in a purple robe, surrounded by rackadooshie women. And Richard was like, what the hell? But I broke this scene down already, and I'll leave it linked above if you haven't already seen it. If you haven't seen it, check it out. So now I want to tell you guys what I really liked about this episode. And one of those things were the dinner date. Of course, you know, I don't condone cheating at all, but you know, it was just, I like them as a couple, and their storyline is hot. So I really like to see them together. And so the dinner date was pretty cool. I really liked the restaurant, the ambiance of the scene. The lighting was great. Her outfit was banging. He looked great. So there was nothing wrong with this scene. The only thing that I did not like is I didn't like how Sam just popped up out of nowhere, because it just kind of reminded me of when Richard was on his date with Frida, and then Nancy popped up, like just out of nowhere, right? And then there was a part in the scene where she said, don't you want to have sex with me, right? It just kind of ruined the moment for me. I really want to see the buildup between these two, some sexual tension. It was just a bit too direct for me. And another part that I like is how Alan really coaxed his way out of a dark place with Jason. He actually got him to, in the end, put his gun down, you know, because they had been up all night talking, drinking, but he was still able to take control of that situation, because it could have ended really bad for him, but he knew how to talk to Jason. Because remember a couple of episodes ago, I think it was maybe the last episode, and even in last season, he told Jason that he has a brother, you know, who has a mental condition, and Jason doesn't like to be put in that category for whatever reason, but he does have a brother who's mentally ill, so he knows how to coax his way out of these situations, and I really like that. But a part of this that I didn't really like too much is where Jason is just not showing any growth at all. He's just really creepy and really weird, and he's still creepy and weird, like just like first season. You know, there was no growth with him. It's like his character is declining, and it doesn't get any better. So I just want to see him grow a little bit, or at least get some help. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. And the way that this episode falls into the storyline, I think that you know, it was kind of middle of the road for me, you know, except for the part where Nancy's sitting there with the rackadooshie robe on, and it's moving along quite nicely. We, you know, have some growth or some advancement of Bobby and Priscilla. We had Max finally getting a chance to whoop on Kyle a little bit, and hopefully Lily will get Officer Heller to help her out. So it's moving along quite nicely, and I really enjoyed this episode. So that concludes this episode of Tyler Perry's The Oval, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. You know I'd appreciate it. And if you're a fan of Tyler Perry's The Oval, go ahead and sub to the channel for more videos just like this one. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight, you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.